So I just got back from Record Store Day 2022, at least the April event. And I got some releases. I got 5 of them to be specific. So we're going to open them up here on camera. We're going to talk about the vinyl. We're going to talk about everything else inside. Chat about some things in and around the titles. And maybe I'll give you a little bit of my RSD experience as well. So definitely stick around. So let's talk about my Record Store Day experience this time around. I got up about 4:45 in the morning. Actually, I got up at 4:15, laid in bed for half an hour and said, screw it, just get up. Left the house about 5:45, got there maybe about 7 or 8 minutes later. I only live so many blocks away from my record store, such being Pure Pop Records here in Burlington, Vermont. First in line, I'm often either first or second, which is pretty interesting this time around because 3 minutes later, guy number 2 showed up, and then maybe 10 minutes later, guy number 3 showed up. So kind of cut it close, I guess, because as a metal guy, I usually don't have a lot of competition on Record Store Day. A guy behind me was a jazz guy, and the guy behind him, a guy I run into all the time in line, he's more of a hard rock guy, but he likes a lot of classic stuff as well. So we have very little overlap, he and I. We actually had the Motorhead record as overlap, but I'm going to get into that later. It was 34 degrees outside. I do live in Vermont, so winter ends in May, which is basically the thing. We had a wind chill of 27 degrees, though, so I did show up pretty bundled. You can see the picture here of me in line with the 3 guys, and no big deal. I live in a very cold state. I don't bitch about it. So anyways, waited in line. Mikey, the guy who works at Pure Pop, helps run the place, basically. He comes out with the blank lists that you fill out. I don't know what your store does, but ours basically gives you a blank sheet with 10 spaces, and you fill out the titles you want the most. You put the ones you want the very most at the top, and then, the ones you're not going to be heartbroken about if you don't get towards the bottom. What they do is they try to get you your first 2, your number 1 or your number 2 list. If they can, they put it behind the counter for you, and you can come in and pick it up. What happens is if you only have 1 or 2 records you want, it almost doesn't make sense to be in line, because what you can do is show up at 8:59. There's a 9 o'clock cutoff for these lists, and you can just hand the list to Mikey and then just come back later in the day and pick up your records. But I'm one of those guys, I want 6 or 7 or 8 titles, so the top 2 are a big deal, but I want those others too, so being first in line kind of guarantees me those to some degree. I'd say mostly to a great degree. So that's why I stick in line. The other folks, again, I don't have a lot of competition with them. Again, there aren't a lot of metal people in line, so I tend not to worry about any of that too much. So anyways, 9 o'clock rolls around, Mikey takes the list, and then what they do in the shop for the next hour until they officially open at 10 is they go through the list. They kind of randomize them a little bit, which might piss off some people who are first in line. But again, it's more about how many records you're getting. They're trying to make it fair for other people. Do I agree with that? Do I not agree with that? Kind of conflicted, to be honest. But again, my records 3 through 8, I'm going to get because I'm first in line. So it does work out a little bit for the folks who are getting a lot of records and want to be first in line. So long story short, there's that. So as 10 o'clock rolls in, I go in, all my records are there. The top 2 I wanted got put behind the counter. Very cool. I really love Pure Pop for this event. They do a really good job on it. I really do want to thank Mikey. I want to thank Mike as well. He's the owner. They do a great job. So that's pretty much my day. And then I chatted with some people in line, random people, some people I've known for years and decades, as a matter of fact. So there's very much a social component to being in line and being at Record Store Day. It's the thing I enjoy about it. Maybe something that other people don't find as important. So be it. But all in all, really good event. And just a heads up here, I'm not going to go into any real depth about these releases, primarily because I just walked through the door and I haven't even opened them yet. You and I are going to do that together. But definitely count on some of these, if not most of them, to be in future episodes of Vinyl Haul, and then I'll go much more into depth about them. So just keep that in mind and think of this video more as a sneak peek. So with that, let's get to the records. First up is Motorhead with Lost Tapes Volume 2. This is a continuation of their live album series they've been doing for Record Store Day. In fact, I did pick up Volume 1 some time back, you might remember. Here it is, and we're going to talk about this a little bit in contrast to this one. Why not? Just to read the hype here, we've got a limited edition, previously unreleased live album on double blue vinyl. In fact, I should have figured it was blue vinyl in particular. I know in the Top Picks video I said it was likely black, which makes absolutely no sense because there were red records in this one, red on the cover, so naturally follows. Anyways, a Venomous live set from the Snakebite Love album tour, recorded at the University of East Anglia in Norwich on October 18th, 1998. Typo on the sticker here, it says Easy Anglia. That's kind of fun. Anyways, let's open her up. All right. See what we got in here. Save the hype. All right. Got a little bit of a gatefold going on here. There we go. Let's see if we can get that. Track listings. Looks like some credits. Cool pictures of the band. Very, very nice. Back cover, more track listings. I did want to talk about the song differences on Volume 1 versus Volume 2 here. They both close out with Overkill, which is pretty cool. The new one opens up with Bomber. Bomber's not even on this other one, which is really great. Some of the tracks I'm seeing different from this guy here is No Class isn't on Volume 1. Likewise, The Chase is better than The Catch. What else am I seeing here? I don't think Stone Deaf Forever is on here. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Nope, it's not. And some other tracks. You do have some typical ones that are on both. Killed by Death is on here. Iron Fist, Ace of Spades, Going to Brazil. But I would say about maybe half of the track listing is different between the two. So if you got Volume 1, it might be worth it to get Volume 2 as well. This is also 3 years later. It's a different tour. So maybe that factors in. Who knows? Anyways, let's take a look at the vinyl. Let's see. It should be on blue vinyl, and of course it is. Look at that. Nice. And get that as well. I'm going to assume record 2 is very, very similar. Pull that out as well. Track listings there. And that as well. Put that down nicely so no one complains. And let's see what else we got in here. It looks like it's going to be it. So, yeah. Pretty cool. I should also mention this was an RSD exclusive release. So, you might have to chase after this in the aftermarket a bit. You might pay a little bit more for it. Who knows? It was limited to 2,250 copies. And there was one copy at my store. Again, crazy. But I got it. Very happy to have it. Next up is the debut EP for Kirk Hammett. This is his solo project. Of course, Kirk Hammett is lead guitarist for Metallica. This sounds nothing like Metallica. Some of the influences on here, some of his inspirations were horror movies and soundtracks, especially ones from Ennio Morricone, if you know who that is. I certainly do. It's one of the reasons why I bought this. It is on Ocean Blue vinyl. Now we're going to take a look at that. It's a 4-track EP. A lot of people have already heard High Plains Drifter. It's right there, but there's also Maiden and the Monster, The Djinn, and The Incantation. Vinyl is right here. A very nice blue. There you go. With much the same on the reverse. There's also a download card in here. Guess who's not going to see that? There's the back of it, though. Exciting. So this RSD variant of Portals is limited to 6,500 copies. It is an RSD first release, though, so it will be out later in wide release. Curious, though, I've seen two different covers. They share the same color palette, but the design's slightly different. And I don't know if the wide release variant is going to be that second cover, or they just went with this cover and that one leaked. I'm not really sure how that's going to go. I guess we'll find out. But pretty cool. There were 4 copies of this in my store, so I wasn't really worried too much. And again, wide release later. I could have waited, didn't want to, grabbed it right away. So there it is, Kirk Hammett with Portals. Next up is a reissue for LA Guns. This is their 8th studio album entitled Waking the Dead. Originally came out in 2002. This is an RSD first release, so there'll be many more later in wide release. 4,000 copies initially. Not sure what the differences will be between this one and the wide release. Maybe nothing. Who knows? What's interesting about this is this was actually slated for last year. In fact, you can see that it says Record Store Day 2021 there on the hype sticker. So what's funny about that is it came out this year instead, and now it's a 20th anniversary release, inadvertently. It wouldn't have been that if it came out last year. So I think that's kind of funny. Just to read the hype sticker some more. First time on vinyl. We're probably going to see maybe more of that with the other LA Guns albums, I hope. Maybe. The 2002 classic, I'm not sure if it's a classic. You decide. Lineup is pretty interesting. You have 3/4 of the more or less original lineup. You've got Phil Lewis and Tracy Guns. You have Steve Riley on drums. You have Adam Hamilton. He's the bass player. There were a number of bass players after Kelly Nichols left. Features Okay, Let's Roll. Don't know the song. It is on red, white, and blue splatter edition vinyl. Also a download card. And let's take a look at the vinyl. Why not? Always so much fun getting the stuff off of this. All right. There's the back cover, by the way, with track listings. Yeah, looks pretty good. I do like the artwork, by the way. Pretty cool artwork. Anyways, vinyl. Let's get to it. Yep, there is a download card down there. I am sensing a little bit of a theme in the blue. We now have 3 records with blue. There is a little bit of splatter, though. Pretty cool. Got some members of the band there. Flip it over. The other 2 members of the band. Pretty cool. So I am a bit of a fan of early LA Guns. I love the first 2 albums a lot. I even like Hollywood Vampires quite a bit. Kind of lost track of them later, and then picked up with them probably on these last couple of albums they put out when Tracy Guns came back to the band. So I've been interested in this sort of lost period of the band. Call it what you will, whatever. I'm sure there are LA Guns fans who hate me calling it that, but it's kind of the case. So I'm really interested in hearing this one. I'm interested in checking out some of the others. I am familiar with the album after this, which is Tales from the Strip. Really interesting album. Again, Tracy Guns isn't on it, but it's still pretty cool. It's got some good songs, Vampires on it, and what's that other one that starts the album? It Don't Mean Nothing. Great song. So I'm interested in checking this out. 1 copy at my store, so I had to snag this one pretty quick. Anyways, LA Guns, Waking the Dead. Next up is another reissue, this time from Voivod. This is their 6th studio album entitled Angel Rat. Originally came out in 1991. And some of you are probably saying to yourself, Matt, you weren't going to buy Angel Rat. What happened? Well, largely what happened was that Nothing Face, their previous album, its reissue got bumped to June. So I was in the store and I'm like, I want some Voivod. What am I going to do? And I remember liking a couple songs on this album. I was like, you know what? Let's just buy it, give it a chance, and all of that. So that's what I'm going to do after we open this and I go and listen to it later. A couple things I wanted to talk about. The hype sticker is interesting because there's a conflict in the release numbers. This is an RSD first release, by the way. And I'm going to need my glasses for this because the text is really small. It says it is deep purple with lime monster green swirl vinyl, limited to 6,000 copies. Which is interesting because the site says, I think, 4,500 copies. So, who do you believe? Who knows? This is the first North American LP release for this title. It is the 1991 prog metal masterpiece, newly mastered for vinyl by Peter Moore, if that's important to you. One thing about this cover that's interesting, and I'll show it better when I take the plastic off it, is it's very dark. In Photoshop, we would call it levels need to be brought up, kind of a thing. But it's still pretty interesting on that level. I did want to talk about a couple things on the back cover. Here's the back cover, by the way. Of course, you notice there is someone missing. Blackie's missing, their bass player. He did leave after the recording of this album. I guess they decided to not include him on the back cover at all. Also, they are using their real names. It's not Snake, Piggy, Blackie, and Away. They're using their real names, which is kind of interesting. I wonder if that has something to do with the fact that the 90s are here and they're wanting to maybe leave some of the thrash metal stuff behind or things associated with that kind of a thing and want to be considered more serious, more legitimate. I don't know. You can make up your own words for that, but it does seem interesting that that's changed. They do go back to the nicknames after a while, which is also funny. But I kind of think that's kind of interesting here because there is a change in sound here. Nothing Face the album before this starts that change, but you really see the change here on Angel Rat. And it's one of the albums that's pretty divisive amongst metal fans. Some of them just walked away from the band. I might have been one of those people in 1991. I'm going to admit that, but I really do want to give this record a chance now, especially since I just paid for it. So I got to do it anyways. Anyways, let's look at the vinyl. All right. I have noticed a proliferation of these stupid paper sleeves with nothing in them, except for, this one does have a little bit of polyline. The others didn't. So a little bit annoying. And we've broken the blue pattern here. There's this, I don't even know what to call this. Well, green and purple doesn't show up very well in this light. Maybe it does. Yeah, a little bit. And you got the labels there. Same thing on the back. Pretty cool. And before someone wants to pull a gotcha moment with me in the comments, I do know Blackie's real name is right here in the text. He's just not in the picture. That's my point. Anyways, there were 4 copies of this at my store. 4 or 5, I think it was 4. So I had a good chance of getting it. And again, it's going to be in wide release anyways. But didn't want to wait. Need the Voivod. Here it is. And this is Angel Rat. And switching over to my one and only punk release that I got. This is the Ramones, not Ram ones, with the Sire albums, 1981 to 1989. This is a box set comprised of 6 albums during the 1980s, released during that range, obviously, plus a bonus record. It says here on the hype sticker, the Ramones 80s albums, which isn't entirely inclusive. We can get to that in a second. 6 original LPs with 5 on vinyl for the first time this century. Also includes new exclusive Rarities LP on splattered vinyl and Ramones sticker sheet. Limited edition of 14,000 copies, which is interesting because if you go to the RSD site, it says 10,000 copies. So another little contradiction of sorts. Do want to get the plastic off this right away because I do want to talk about the back cover and get to the releases and all of that. Let's just shed that off a little bit better. Get a better look at that cover. Really nice. Back cover does have all of the albums listed. Pleasant Dreams, Subterranean Jungle, Too Tough to Die, Animal Boy, Halfway to Sanity, and Brain Drain. I think I got that without actually having a look. And then still more stuff, Rarities, 1981 to 1989. Obviously, you notice there is an album missing. It is end of the century. It came out in 1980, so it's technically an 80s Ramones album. Not sure why it's gone. I do know it was produced by Phil Spector. Phil Spector has some controversy behind him. He is dead now, I believe. Maybe that was why. Maybe it's just some sort of licensing thing. Who knows? I mean, they were all Sire Records, I do believe. I could be wrong. Call me out on that in the credits or in the comments. This is numbered 11,218. They're all numbered. That actually also betrays the 10,000 copies that RSD listed. So pretty fun. And I'm just going to flip through the regular 6 records here because many of you have seen them before. It's Pleasant Dreams, the back cover. These are all on black vinyl, by the way, except for the splatter vinyl LP of bonus tracks. Subterranean Jungle with the back. Also Too Tough to Die. There's your back. Animal Boy. Halfway to Sanity. Great album. There's the back. And Brain Drain with the back. So yeah, those are all on black vinyl. Situate that a little bit better. Here's the Rarities record. Still more stuff. Rarities 1981 to 1989. There's some definitely cool stuff on here. We've got Touring. We've got I Can't Get You Out of My Mind, Chop Suey, New Girl in Town, Street Fighting Man, Smash You, Howling at the Moon, Sha-La-La. That's a demo version, so there's something awesome. Go Home Ann, You Can't Say Anything Nice, I Don't Want to Live This Life Anymore, Life Goes On, Indian Giver Remix, Go Little Camaro Go alternate version, and Pet Sematary Radio Mix. So this is going to be pretty cool. I just want to see the vinyl. Perhaps so do you. Well, we got Polyline there, not bad. And there's the classic Sire label with some nice black and pink splatter on clear. And there's that as well. There are the stickers. In case you're wondering about those. I'll put this here. So I definitely bought this set primarily for this bonus disc. I really wanted the stuff that was on it, but for the other albums as well. And I just wanted to go through a little bit of my history with the Ramones, not too much. I did listen to the 70s stuff first, but I listened to it late. I was an 80s teenager, so probably from 1984 to 87 or so, I was listening to all the 70s stuff. Didn't give the 80s stuff a chance probably until about 1988, and I came in on Halfway to Sanity and Brain Drain. Had those on CD. I think I still have them around. So the albums in between End of the Century and Halfway to Sanity, I didn't really know much at all. So a big reason I got this as well is, I wanted those last two albums on vinyl, because finally I have them. And then those other records, I really wanted to give them a shot. I know a couple songs off each one, but I thought this would be a great excuse to get into those albums I really just didn't get before. So really happy to get this box set. Very cool. And it's numbered 11,218. That's not a big number, is it? Anyways, there it is. The Sire albums. So there are two RSD titles I still want to get. Obviously, there's Voivod's Nothing Face album. It got bumped to June, so I have to wait a month and a half or whatever it is to get that. Still excited about that, of course. It's one of my favorite Voivod albums, so definitely psyched to get that. The other thing I want to get, of course, is the Paradise Lost live album. It's live at Roadburn 2016. It's performing the entire Gothic album in a live setting. That's a UK-only release, so I have to chase it in the aftermarket. So far in Discogs, as of today, it's not listed, so I'm just waiting that out, seeing how many people start selling it, and then just pick the cheapest price as best I can, because I know I'm going to pay an arm and a leg for it. You know that. Anyways, when I get those two records, of course, I'll talk about them in future episodes of Vinyl Haul, so stay tuned for that. Also, I did want to make a correction to something I said in the RSD Top Picks video last month. I did say that the Udo Dirkschneider album entitled My Way only had him on vocals on one song. That's not true. He's on most, if not all of them. I think the confusion lied in the RSD listing on their site. It listed an Atomic Fire sampler first, so I thought those were the album proper tracks. I just confused the two. It just wasn't listed very well. So now that people have this record or are talking about it, yeah, I look crazy. So anyways, that's the thing. I still don't want the record, to be brutally honest, but now given this new information, maybe you will. So check it out if interested. And that was my Record Store Day haul for April 2022. Of course, in the comments, let me know if you went to the event. Let me know what you wanted to get, what you actually got. Maybe you saw some records there that you didn't plan on getting, but you got them anyways, and now you're really excited about them. Let me know that as well. Maybe you're just totally bah humbug about this whole Record Store Day thing. You can let me know that too. Let me know your main gripes. Let me know if you have any ideas for actually improving Record Store Day. I'm sure some people have thought of things they would rather see than not see there. Let me know all of that in the comments below. Of course, if you found my video or my channel through a Record Store Day search and you're unfamiliar with what I do, how's it going? My name is Matt. This is the Accusation Network, where each and every week I discuss metal vinyl collecting topics. I also go into classic and modern metal bands in general. If that's of interest, definitely subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this and the others with some friends. All of that super helps me out. And of course, the comments section, again, let me know what you think. Always love hearing from people. And of course, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.